Hi fantasy managers, welcome to FPL Team Talk. In this video I'm going to go through my transfer plans for game week 23. I'm going to have a look at those players that I intend to bring in. We're going to have a look at the players that are on my watch list for the up and coming double game weeks and blank weeks in the pipeline. So if you enjoy these sort of videos, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And in the meantime, let's take a look. So this is my side for game week 22 and we're still waiting for the last game to be played. So Manchester United will play Leeds tomorrow night at the time of recording, and I've still got Luke Shaw, Rashford and Weghorst who I brought in for the last game just as a kind of a 1 week punt, just because I felt I had the luxury of that the way the team was set up. They've still yet to play. So Weghorst didn't do anything in the first game. Rashford obviously got a good haul. Shaw came in, chipped in with that assist, which was great. Kepa and Cucurella kept a clean sheet. Just thrilled with that. I think I feel slightly lucky over the last couple of weeks through Cucurella, but Kepa's been just legendary. Ben White conceded that goal. Trippier, finally his run of blank sheets comes to an end, so he owes me nothing, but he got me two. De Bruyne being put on the bench was a little bit of a blow. Again, a good decision in order to put Akanji on the bench and instead play Kane. It was 50-50. I did think that Man City would keep a clean sheet away at Tottenham. That wasn't the case. I just felt in the end, you just don't back against Kane. Haaland didn't do a lot as well. So on my bench, I've done pretty well, just 2-2-1. And overall, it's been pretty decent. Small green arrow with 3 players yet to play. So I don't see that going down anytime soon. And Rashford as captain has turned out pretty well as well. It seemed like the obvious choice. Did contemplate going with a triple captain. Didn't in the end. I don't think I really was ever seriously going to do it. I just feel like there might be better options elsewhere. I am holding on to all my chips so far. And that triple captaincy, I'm just passing up a few opportunities. I just wonder whether I'm just going to constantly hold it, hoping for a better perfect fixtures, which will never come. And my own worry is that I'll just end up using it when I've missed the boat. But with Rashford captaincy, I don't think I really felt comfortable triple captaining him. So we'll look. There's possibly a potential with that later on. But that's how we get on game week 22. How already we've got to consider setting up for game week 23. The side looks pretty good. Akanji, De Bruyne, hopefully that was a rest and rotation. He'll come back in. Have to keep an eye on that one. And Haaland will get the captaincy. So a lot of double game week players in there. I've got Ben White. The one thing that's clearly missing from the side, I think, is those Arsenal players. Since the World Cup, I've just opted to leave them out. I just thought the fixtures are too hard and I've underestimated them. They've been brilliant, but now I've got to bring them in and we'll see why in a minute. But the way this side's set up right now, I do have over 2 million in the bank. I've got 2 transfers, so I'm pretty well set up and I quite like the way the team is looking. Let's look at which transfers I'm planning on doing for game week 23. One thing that I really need to take into consideration for any transfers now in the next coming weeks is the double game week announcement of game week 25. So not only have we got the EFL Cup being played, so Newcastle and Manchester United, Leeds and Brentford will all blank in that week. We do have a couple of fixtures that have been put in there. Notably, Liverpool are going to be playing Wolves at home and Arsenal play their game against Everton. So we'll have 4 teams doubling in that week. And as you can see from this graphic, it means Arsenal are doubling in game week 23. They got Villa, then they're doubling in 25 and have good fixtures beyond that as well. And on top of that, in game week 28, which is expected to be the largest blank game week of the year due to the FA Cup quarterfinals, they also have a fixture in there as well against Crystal Palace. So they look like an absolute priority to bring in, especially if you don't have them already. And I'm sat only with Ben White, who possibly is a risk with rotation with Tomiyasu. I don't want to have to wait and see. I've no plans to move him. I've got to bring 2 other Arsenal players in with those fixtures. Liverpool looks quite interesting. I know how bad they've been so far, but with a double away at Palace and at home to Wolves, hard not to want a couple of players in there. And when you consider that your Manchester United and Newcastle's are going to be blanking as well, some FPL managers struggling to get 11 out. Wow, what a bonus it will be have if you can get some double game weekers in there, assuming obviously that most people will already have those Arsenal fixtures. This week as well, game week 23, as we know, we got Arsenal versus Manchester City, so they're doubling this week. The fixtures look decent after that as well. So those are the teams that I'm really prioritising and looking at over the next few weeks. My plans are that Weghorst was always going to be a one hit. It was a double game week. He looked nailed on up front for Man United. Good fixtures. Still got the Leeds game away, at home rather, to play. They got the Leeds away. He's not done brilliantly, it's got to be said. He hasn't chipped in with any goals or assists. He just got 1 point in that first fixture. We'll wait and see what he does in the next one. But you know what? I'm not overly worried. If he gets anything as a bonus, whatever he does, he's going to be coming out. Because I just think he's got to come out and an Arsenal player is going to come in. Which Arsenal players I'm going to go for? Weghorst, it will just be a straight swap for Nketiah. 6.7 million. I've got the money. Brentford at home and City at home. Decent fixtures. Not going to be considering him for captaincy. But that double game week against Leicester and Everton looks really good. Have to keep an eye on about Jesus, but we don't expect him back anytime soon. But Nketiah just looks really good. Great XGIs he's had all season, right up there with the very best of him. And playing an Arsenal side that is still scoring goals, great fixtures. I just don't think it's just too good a price at 6.7 to really consider not having him. And that forward slot I'm happy to go for. Weghorst came out. The plan was always to bring Nketiah in. Alongside that, I think Odegaard is the next option for me. 7 million, I'd have to take out Almiron. I've got the funds to do it. He comes in and his underlying stats just look brilliant. 0.61, go with KDB, Salah and Rashford, but you're paying quite a bit more for some of those premiums. Odegaard absolutely nailed in that Arsenal side. 7 million, he's gone up in price. I'm still going there. He has great fixtures, nailed. I know he's going to be playing in all 5 fixtures in the next 3 weeks. He has to come in. Conversely, I did consider the idea, and I think I would prefer, even though his underlying stats don't really back him up, to have Saka. But we'll look at him in a minute. The other choice to get to someone like Saka would be having to sell De Bruyne, who obviously was rested at the weekend against Tottenham. 12.4 million. He is expensive. Double game week. I just don't think I'm going to get rid of him in a double game week. I just think that's just madness. And the fixtures beyond that look decent as well. But he is expensive, so I've got a few queries about what to do with him. I could take him out. I could bring him across, put Odegaard in, bring a Saka in. Definitely afford to do that. But where then do I go with my Man City? I do think I want 3 Man City players in. And Rico Lewis looks increasingly more inviting. His underlying stats just don't look great, but he started the last 3, got 90 minutes for the first time in an important game against Tottenham. It just feels like Pep's increasingly trusting him and he's getting more time ramped up. How it will feature with the European fixtures, I don't know. Underlying stats don't look great, but 3.9, if he consistently continues to play in that Man City side, I just think 3.0 is just too good to give away. I could go from someone like a Cucurella down to a Lewis. I don't think I'm going to be doing it this week because it will take a hit, and I don't think I want to take out De Bruyne to get there. But in order to fund some of these moves, I think possibly De Bruyne would have to come out. I could just make a straightforward swap from a Kanji to Lewis. That is also an option. The other options I could go for, and I do like the look of, he keeps cropping up on everyone's watch list, and he could be a double game week in 26 or 27. But he just blanks in 25, which is a pain, and he also will blank in 28. So it's just, he would come in for Fulham, West Ham and Leeds, and I'd need to shift a few other players out. I just don't know if I can fit him in. It would be for a hit. It would take some jiggling, but his underlying stats look great. The price is absolutely perfect, and he just keeps scoring goals, and he's nailed. So Matoma looks like a real option, but I just don't think I can get there this week with 2 Arsenal players. I don't think I want to take a hit to bring Matoma in. I don't think it's worth it to go away at Villa, especially when he's got those blank fixtures coming up. The last player that I want to talk about on my watch list, will just stay on my watch list, I think is Reece James. The good thing about Reece James is, if you're an FPL fan that have played over the last couple of seasons, you'll just know how explosive he can be. He has a fixture in game week 25, where most FPL managers might be struggling to get a fixture, and he also will play in game week 28, so that is appealing as well. So I know he's going to be playing all through those fixtures, but whether he starts and how many minutes he gets, that's another issue. Been on James about 3 times this season, constantly getting injured, bringing him back, he's having to be shipped out. The amount of transfers I use on James, I think, is more than any other player. But I do want Reece James. If he's fit and available, he plays, and he's got such an ability to get assists. His XGI is always really high. Chelsea look like maybe they're coming a bit more firmer with Fernandes in the side as well. Could it be that they're a little bit more solid across the back? Reece James just looks a great option, but I'm not going to jump onto him this week. I'm not completely convinced he'll get the minutes as well, because they have the European competition in midweek, so which one of those? He's not going to be playing all 3 games, so I would have to keep an eye on him and how I'd want to remain flexible. Ideally, I'd want to use my 2 transfers to bring in Nketiah and Odegaard in this week. roll my transfer for game week 24, and then have something to be able to use in the following game week. We'll have to see. That will be the plan, because I want to stay flexible with all these double game a week announcements. But Reece James is right up there on my watch list as one I desperately want to bring in. That's it for this one then, guys. Let me know in the comments below who you are intending to bring in for game week 23, and what are your plans for the upcoming double game weeks. Is there any players that you think I've completely overlooked or I should be considering for my team? And let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, we'll come back at you with a team selection video before the deadline on Saturday morning. So if I don't speak to you before then, take care and I shall see you soon.